I went ahead and organized the Pokemon that are actually, like, important to the series at all into a box. Sleepy's in here because she was helpful catching Pokemon early on. Is in here because I want to teach her Sweet Scent eventually in order for horde encounters to go by faster, so yeah, I'll be doing that off screen, but she will be relevant. Snowgrave is here because he's the Glalie we got in the demo. This Beldum just feels important because it's Steven's shiny Beldum. And the Cosplay Pikachu is going to be our main contest Pokemon, so I think it's fitting that he be in here because we are going to be doing all of the contests at one point or another. Currently he's just maxed out on being cool and he has the red scarf, but we'll get him maxed out on everything eventually. You can take this as me having forgotten that Cosplay Pikachu is female, or you can take it as Cosplay Pikachu is gender fluid, which is an infinitely cooler headcanon. Whichever you choose. For now, I keep saying he, it's like literally 100% female, this Pikachu, but whatever. Yeah, she'll kick some ass eventually. Hello Internet, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. In the last episode, we explored, not Slateport City, we explored the basics of Pokemon Contest Spectaculars, everything we're capable of doing for now. Of course, we didn't do everything we're capable of doing for now, but we at least went over it and we know what we're capable of and all that. We'll be spending some more time on Pokemon Contest Spectaculars once we actually have access to Mega Evolution, but for now, that's about all we could do. So, this time, we're going to continue along on our adventure, leaving Slateport City, finally. Say finally as if we've been here more than 2 episodes, we haven't, but still. We're off for somehow bigger cities, which is saying something because Slateport City is huge. That looked like there should be a hidden item there, but there wasn't. We're on Route 110 now. Which should I choose? Make a beeline for Mauville on Cycling Road or take the low road and look for Pokemon? Do you have a bike? The answer's pretty easy if you don't. Sorry, but you can't go walk on the Cycling Road. It's too dangerous. Please come back with a bike. Yeah, so this is the Cycling Road in this game, and yeah, it's not an actual route. It's just a shortcut to get through this route. We're going to be going underneath Cycling Road along this route, which I think is pretty neat. Route 110 is home to a lot of electric types. Hello. Let's keep going through Route 110 and head for Mount Chimney. It'll be quite a long journey. Let's take a rest in Mauville City, which is on the way. I concur. All right. As I was saying, Route 110 is home to a lot of electric-type Pokemon, so let's go over those. Electrike is a bit unfortunate. It and its evolved form Manectric are primarily special attackers, and they only learn physical moves through level up until level 29, meaning they always feel just a little underpowered compared to other Pokemon on your team without TMs. We will be getting the TM for Volt Switch soon, which will make it so Electrike can pivot into other Pokemon while also dealing some damage, but until either level 29 or pretty late in the main story, Electrike's damage output just isn't really going to be all that great. Maybe go for Electro Ball as an egg move and pair it with Thunder Wave. You can also just get Discharge early as an egg move to skip that grind, but in the end, that's still the best Electrike really has going for it, unfortunately. After evolving at level 26, Manectric still suffers from a lot of the same issues as Electrike. Volt Switch and Discharge are going to be your main attacking options for the majority of the adventure. It will benefit from the Thunderbolt and Flamethrower TMs, but neither of these are available until pretty late in the game. Even with both of those moves, you'll probably be relying on getting lucky with Hidden Power for that final move slot. I don't mean to say Manectric is bad, it's a powerful, speedy special attacker with the few special moves it does get. It really just lacks for variety in those moves. Minun is adorable and interesting, but unfortunately it's not strong. Minun's ability is its whole gimmick. Minus powers up its special attack when paired with an ally who has plus or minus. Unfortunately, outside of that, there's not much going for it. Its gimmick only works in double battles, it doesn't learn Nasty Plot to power itself up outside of them until level 46, and it only learns electric and normal type attacking moves outside of Grass Knot, which is unreliable, and Hidden Power, which relies on luck. Use it if you just love Minun, but don't expect it to blow you away at all. Plusle is the same, just in the other version. It's only strong when paired with another Plusle or Minun in a double battle, and struggles heavily on its own in single battles. Oddish is sort of the box standard when it comes to grass types. It's part poison type and learns the status powders and draining moves through level up. Its moveset will ultimately end up consisting of some combination of Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Toxic, and Venoshock, and it's going to struggle against flying and fire types. I'll have more to say about Oddish once we get to its evolution, but for now, just know that the only thing you'll be missing out on by evolving Oddish as soon as possible is Moonblast. Oddish and only Oddish learns this at level 43, so have fun not evolving your Oddish for that long. Gulpin
These nuts.
is somewhat interesting. At level 28, it learns Stockpile, Spit Up, and Swallow. Stockpile increases the defense and special defense stats by 1 stage up to 3 times, and those boosts can then be sacrificed using Spit Up to attack the opponent, or Swallow to heal yourself. It's a silly gimmick, but one that fits Gulpin well. Otherwise, it's a poison type through and through. It has surprising variety in the moves it can learn. Ice Beam and Shadow Ball are both available through TM, which is fun, along with Destiny Bond as an egg move to drag an opponent you know will take it out with it. Its hidden ability, Gluttony, is also situationally useful, though unfortunately this is the generation before that truly becomes an excellent ability. It can still pair well with berries that increase Gulpin's stats in a pinch, though. After evolving into Swala, not much has changed. It's really more of the same of what you got with Gulpin, just with more bulk. It's not bad, but it's a slower, tanky Pokemon. Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Earthquake, and Rest are probably what it'll be best off using. Voltorb is fast enough to hit with Thunder Wave to cripple opponents, and it can explode. That's its bread and butter. Otherwise, it's not the strongest at using electric-type moves, and it doesn't get much variety outside of those. If you want to raise one, I'd say it's worth waiting. We can catch its evolve form later on to skip the stage where it's just not doing much damage. Even if you're having it explode, that just means it's not gaining experience. It's best to wait for its evolution that can at least do some sizable damage without exploding. Magnemite can only appear in hordes, but it is available here this early. Electric Steel is a great type defensively. Fire and ground are its only major weaknesses, and it can otherwise be switched in pretty safely, with Sturdy as a great option for an ability to guarantee that as well. Magnemite learns Mirror Shot and Electro Ball fairly early on, which pair well with Thunder Wave, and it will even learn Flash Cannon fairly early at level 31 if you want to wait 1 level for it to evolve. Magneton will function much the same as Magnemite. It's great at using Steel and Electric type moves. Unfortunately, it doesn't get many options beyond that. They don't even have any egg moves, so basically, if you need a team member to use Electric and Steel moves, pick up Magnemite here and evolve it into Magneton. You'll even be able to pick up Magnezone before the end of the main story, but their biggest weakness is easily their enormous lack of variety. So made it onto Route 103 while we were going through bios, and yeah, this is what is on the other side of that water on Route 103. Went through that tree maze. At the very end were some Chesto and Lepa berries. I went ahead and planted that Lumberry we got from Lysia in the last video, but otherwise, it's pretty much just trainers to fight over here, including a double battle where we might actually get to see, like, what Minun and Plusle can do when they're together, but as I said, this is sort of a route that's going to have a lot of electric Pokemon, and that goes for this half of Route 103 as well as Route 110, so really, we're just going to be spamming Magnitude and probably knocking out literally everything in a single hit. Also, Puff is going to use Bullet Seed a lot. Magnitude is going to do less damage because it's split across both opponents and our ally, but yeah, you could see that didn't really end up mattering in the end. Slate grew to level 20. Yeah. This is where Slate is going to start being really solid. He's going to be able to take out most things we face on this route in a single hit, so that's nice that he has that going for him. It's about time he had anything going for him. The Pokefan, who I fought on Route 110 during those bios, has a 20% chance to give you a heal ball after defeating her, in rematches at least, so yeah, heal balls are kind of the least useful special Pokeball that exists. That's what Slate was caught in. Heal balls sort of just work so they heal a Pokemon to full health after you catch them, but if you have a full party, they're getting sent to the PC, so they'll be fully healed anyway. I don't know. They aren't the best. Slate also learned Smackdown during the bios. Smackdown is interesting because it grounds flying or levitating Pokemon, making them vulnerable to ground-type moves. I went ahead and got rid of the rock polish for it. I had to remember what that move is called. Just because we haven't had any use for rock polish, and I don't think we ever will. We have a minus speed nature. Geodude is already naturally very slow. I'm not really that worried about moving first with Geodude, as long as he can take some hits before actually moving. If you choose to cross the sea from here, it'll be a shortcut to Oldale Town. F-U, F-U, F-U. That's useful, isn't it? I guess, but does this count as the sea? I think this is more like a lake. But that's just me being pedantic, you know me. Do you just have Magikarps? Please tell me you just have Magikarps. I want a water-type trainer that... Oh, this is a good start. I want a water-type trainer that Slate can take his revenge against, because he has had a bad time up until now. He deserves a win. Splash is just called Hop in the original Japanese text, and it was translated to Splash, so... Pokemon like Hoppip that were supposed to have it in the context of it just being them hopping, now have it in the context of them splashing in the English localizations of these games. And I think it's a really adorable image of just Hoppip splashing. It even makes a little bit of sense because in Fire Red and Leaf Green, you can find Hoppip on the water in the Sevi Islands, which the reason is clearly because the wind is carrying them over the water, but it's still a little cute. I like it. Anyway, that is all for Route 103, and Slate is now caught up to the rest of the party in terms of experience too, which is nice. This episode really is just going to mostly consist of training. We aren't even going to be going through all of Route 110, so yeah, it has that going for it. Or against it, I guess, depending on how you view it. I don't know. I enjoy experiencing everything in these games when I make these videos, and that includes the boring stuff like just going through routes. Anyway, that sign told us to take 2 steps to the right and then 1 step up to get to the trick house, so here we are. You're being watched. But from where? Just inspect everything. There might have been a flash or something to tell me where I was being watched from, but I wasn't paying attention, so now I just need to try my best and find out. Oh, he's under the table. How did you know I concealed myself beneath this desk? You're sharp. Behold, for I am the greatest living mystery of a man in all of Hoenn. That is decidedly false. They call me the Trick Master. Wahahaha! Glad to meet you. You've come to challenge my trick house, haven't you? That's why you're here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Consider your challenge accepted. Enter through the scroll there and let your challenge commence. I shall be waiting in the back. One more thing. I have to warn you. My tricks are quite difficult. Don't get lost. An escape rope. Can you use that in here? Now I'm really leaving. I shall be waiting in the back. How did he do that? Yeah, we're gonna go through this scroll. I don't know if you can actually use an escape rope in here, but if so, that's kind of funny. This room is interesting. So we can just go to the scroll in the back, but the door is locked and we need to write a secret code to get through. So our goal is going to be to go through this maze and find a scroll that actually has the password we're looking for in it. So yeah. There are going to be trainers to fight in here, but the puzzle really just boils down to using cut until you reach the scroll. So yeah, the items in here are going to be the best thing we're going to be getting, so make sure you get those, because once you leave this maze, you won't be able to come back. For this specific maze, at least. Yeah. The most annoying part of this is just that you have to mash the A button to use cut every single time. These are lava cookies. These are the Hoenn region's equivalent to the full heal. Every region except Kanto has one at this point in the series, though this is earlier than you're able to get them in the original games, which, yeah, that's just interesting that they gave them to you much earlier here, but yeah, it's not that big of a deal. As I said, the plural of lava cookie, you can probably guess there are 2 of them in here. That's also what the second item is. It's not the end of the world if you don't get them. Like, there's other ways to get lava cookies in this game, obviously, but I don't know. I want to get them because I don't like missable items in games like this. Deltarune is another game where, like, I know I've seen people post about this before, and it's something I know I've experienced playing through Deltarune, is like, there's always the required path and then like 4 optional paths, and sometimes if you go to the required path then it blocks off the optional paths and you just miss out on whatever you missed, and I don't like that. I don't like missable items and stuff, and it's like one of my least favorite things in most games is things that are missable. Pokemon doesn't have many things like that, but that just kind of makes it all the more brutal when there is something like these lava cookies. There aren't items in the original Trick House, so yeah. The Trick House in general was very different in Ruby and Sapphire. So give me a second to explain how. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the Trick House was sort of just made a little easier and lamer. Not that this area was difficult in the remakes at all, but the trainers in the remake use less Pokemon at lower levels, and the layout of the room is a lot easier to navigate without getting confused, so yeah, it was just made a lot simpler, and that goes for a lot of things in most Pokemon remakes, but especially this one, because, yeah, this one is definitely, I think as far as like dumbing down a Pokemon region goes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are the remake that are by far the most guilty of that. Heart Gold and Soul Silver sort of just make Johto more understandable. Leaf Green and Fire Red don't do a whole lot with Kanto, and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl don't do anything with Sinnoh. Except Romanos Park, I guess. Is that what that area is called? I was trying to think of what the area is called, and I always get it wrong because it's just some word that doesn't look like it matters to the world of Pokemon. Like, it looks like a name of a park that you'd see in the real world, and I don't know. It's like Unity Park was more memorable to me because Unity is a very Pokemon word. I'm sort of just spilling words out of my mouth. Youngster Eddie is the last guy in here. I do still recommend fighting all the trainers in here because, as I said, of the items, if you leave this house, well, if you pass through this house and you skip any of the trainers, you won't be able to come back to this particular maze, so yeah. These are missable trainers, it's missable experience. You should go for it. If you want to, but I guess you aren't probably hurting for experience in this particular game. Leaf Blade! Already? This is a 90 power, 100 accuracy grass-type move. It's physical, but critical hits land more easily. Also just one of the coolest moves, in my opinion. Oh, I wish I could see Manuka's stats. That is one of the worst parts of Gen 6, is, like, you can't see a Pokemon's stats when you're teaching them moves. I don't want to get rid of Giga Drain. I think I'm going to get rid of Pursuit for this. We have Thief if I want a Dark-type move on Grovyle, but Leaf Blade is sort of just better. I've used Pursuit like 3 times, and it hasn't been for anything really relevant. I think I'd rather have Leaf Blade. But of course, I'm going to use Giga Drain instead. Oh, it's using Mud Sport. For all the electric-type moves my Grovyle was going to use on this ground-type. I never understood why Geodude and, like, other ground-types learn Mud Sport. I mean, because it's a ground-type move, I guess, but it doesn't make sense. because that just weakens electric type moves and they're already ground types. I guess it's okay for double battles, but I don't know. That seems weird to me. Anyway, I'm not saving. We never save during a recording, unless I check the recording first. I think I'm gonna move Puff to the front for now, because we got everybody up a few levels. We wrote the secret code on the scroll. Trickmaster is wonderful. The door was unlocked. I could have guessed that. There's no really long hallway to get to this room. Aye! AI, you've made it this far? You're sharp. It took me all night to plant those trees. That's impressive if they grew overnight. You're almost my equal in greatness by 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Great, you have earned this reward. TM12, Taunt. This is a dark type move that locks the target out of using status moves. It lasts 3 turns if the user acts before the target, before if they act after. Scrub that smirk from your face. It's much too early to think you've won. I'll make new tricks to stump you, I will. You may mock me only when you're done. Come back for the next exciting installment. Okay, bye. In here is also an expert belt? Really? That's a ridiculously good item this early on. This boosts the damage of super effective moves by 20%. Like, just super effective in general. So, it's really solid, honestly, especially if you have a Pokemon that has a lot of variety in the moves that it knows. We don't really at the moment. I guess Manuka would be the closest. But if there's any move I want to teach to Manuka, it would be Thief, and I don't even really want to teach that right now, so not going to be teaching or giving that to anybody right now, but still, that'll be a good thing to keep in mind. I did not know you got an expert belt this early. All right. Anyway, I think that's going to be all for now. We've explored about half of Route 110. Next time, we're going to explore the rest of it. See you guys then.